right, in the meantime, we've got former Bush 41 campaign advisor Mark Serrano, market watcher Jonathan Hoenig on this NAFTA deal being renegotiated. The Canadians are optimistic right now, Jonathan, that this doesn't mean that agreement is shelved, it's just being reworked. Well, they better hope so, right? I mean, what do you see happening here?
Well, Americans should hope so as well, Neil. I mean, you can't be a little bit pregnant. You're either for free trade, which is freedom, or not. And historically, even in the last couple of days, we've seen the president is not. He's for fair trade, like John Edwards or, the leftists. He's for smart trade, like Obama was. And again, we've seen it so far in lumber, in milk, and I really fear, Neil, the Canadians, and I think Americans should fear, he's making the same mistakes of Herbert Hoover, who turned the stock market crash into the Great Depression through these protectionist trade policies.
Now, Mark, obviously the president is taking a different tack on this, that he thinks what's been onerous to American businesses, this is his opinion, the Canadians will try to correct, the Mexicans will try to correct, but will they? Because obviously these things, the tension escalates and it gets worse, right?
Neil, if you believe in free markets, then you know NAFTA has to be fixed. You take a look at the manufacturing jobs that are lost in our $63 billion trade deficit with Mexico. That's not acceptable. Why did you have NAFTA if you still have a tremendous trade imbalance? So what the president doing is he's employing the art of the deal. One of the 11 principles is know your leverage. So what did he do? He put a tariff on softwood lumber. And after threatening to scrap NAFTA, what happens? The presidents of these countries call him and say, don't scrap NAFTA, let's renegotiate. He's winning on trade because he has forced these people to the table to fix NAFTA, and that's the best thing for our economy.
I do worry, though, kind of to Jonathan's point, Mark, about the danger of renegotiating international agreements, whether it's immediately justified or not, because then won't other countries start saying, all right, well, they renegotiate this, they're going to renegotiate this. We can't take the Americans at their word when they sign an agreement because another president comes in and undoes that agreement. You know what I mean?
Well, but look, if you fix an agreement and there's greater trade balance, it's going to be good for both parties because we're going to continue to do trade with them. Otherwise, we're going to be shutting down our markets through these tariffs, and that's not good for anybody. So I don't agree with that. I think we're going to have a better deal.
All right, Jonathan told me to ask you that. Let me ask you, Jonathan, the Canadian Prime Minister said, and this is a flash coming in here, that there's no question there are a broad range of options available to Canada in terms of trade retaliation. It prefers to work collaboratively with the United States. But, of course, this on the heels of the president now going after the Canadians on lumber. And I just wonder where this goes. What do you think?
Well, there's this basic misconception, Neil, of what trade is. Trade is always win-win, and the president is coming in with a force. I think to Mark's point, I mean, force is taxes. That's all the president can do. And this is central planning. This is something that the right has always decried.
Oh, Jonathan, please.
Picking winners and losers.
Oh, my gosh. You got to be kidding. He's using the leverage of the bully pulpit, and he's bringing them to the table. They're saying, uncle, already. Oh, we're going to cut a better deal.
He's using it against Americans. I think that's what's so different. I mean, if you look at the empirical evidence, Neil, through literally since Adam Smith, the most free economies are the most prosperous. So you just can't get me to believe that President Trump picking winners and losers of industries is going to do anything beneficial.
But NAFTA is a stranglehold on free markets. That's the problem. It wasn't. I worked on NAFTA in 1993. It didn't work because of this trade imbalance. NAFTA is in the way of free markets. That's the point.
You worked on this when Bill Clinton was president?
I was just a kid.
Really? Okay. You got over that. All right, guys, thank you both very, very much.